So, Taymur, you talk about Paul with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion. I want to know what Paul means to you.
In 2016, I got paralyzed for 6 months. Construction started on the project. 3 months into the construction, I broke my ankle. So I used to go to construction site on a wheelchair. They would take me and my guy, oh, I love it. God bless the guys who built Paul. They would pick me up because I stopped going to the site and they said, Sir, आप क्यों नहीं आ रहे?
Tell me, what in your eyes is what makes Paul different from the other cafes that we have?
A friend of mine told me कि तैमूर तुम ये bread कैसे भेजोगे? ये इतनी सख्त है कौन खाएगा? Everyone will tell you this. It is very difficult. It's something I definitely underestimated entering it. Everyone told me, Taymur, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I've done this.
I came for a slice of cheesecake. I did not find it. So tell me, pizza है, croissant है, ये है, वो है, and then cheesecake नहीं है.
आप पॉल क्यों आते?
Food isn't about what's always on the table. It's about the stories we tell about it. Hello, everyone. Today on Connected Currents by Brandsynario, we are joined by a very good friend of mine and the man who brought the world class dining experience, Paul, to Pakistan. Hi, Taymur. Welcome to Connected Currents.
Hi, Malia. How are you?
I'm very well, and it's so good to have you on the podcast. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me here. I'm
Excellent.
looking forward to it.
So, Taymur, I'll start with something very basic and something that I think you're going to shy off replying to. What is your favorite restaurant in Karachi? And you have to answer that.
Yeah. So that is actually one of my favorite questions. The biggest change that happened in my eating habits once I opened a restaurant was that I don't love to go out for Western food anymore. And that has helped me discover so many Pakistani restaurants that I hadn't been to growing up. One of the greatest things happened is that after I opened Paul, my in-laws took me to Ghafar for the first time. That is now absolutely my favorite place to go given any given day. Ghafar Kebab House is my favorite place to eat in Karachi.
So that goes on the record. Taymur from Paul is going and saying that Ghafar is what he eats at.
Absolutely.
On record?
On the record.
Okay, perfect. Now tell me why Paul, and was it the reason for you to join the food industry in the first place?
So food was, I would love to say food was a passion, is something that I believed in for longer. I stumbled into food. I wanted to get into the retail space. I wanted to get into brands, franchising, etc. And that somehow led me into more than food industry, led me to Paul. And Paul is it's a brand that I grew up knowing about. I was very aware. I loved going there. As I was researching what I wanted to do, I love the idea of bringing that brand to Pakistan. For me, it's Paul is family. It is warmth. Bread is about sharing food. It's everything that I believe is part of my culture. Even though it's French. So that was my real drive behind opening Paul. The love for food came while I was exploring it and understanding what a fantastic experience it is, fulfilling that desire and watching people enjoy. It's very, very fulfilling.
Great. And I think we all have associations with Paul, in some way or the other. Like you mentioned, bread. I'm like breakfast at Tiffany's was breakfast at Paul for me growing up in Dubai. So tell me, Paul is a very established name in itself, right? And it's a global chain. So, what was the hardest part for you bringing such a renowned, recognizable name to a country like Pakistan, which has a very different food culture?
That's a really great question. I think a lot of the hard work was done for me
Hmm.
by other restaurants that opened and created the space to be able to open a cafe like this. Um, and actually, I would say the reverse was true. I underestimated how comfortable people in Pakistan would be with the brand. I thought I would have to localize, change things significantly, way more than I did. Balki, I even think even now, we can probably go reverse and become even more invented into the native nature of the brand itself. Pakistanis are fantastic. I mean, the great thing about living in a city of 3 million, 30 million people is you have more than enough people who want to eat what you're making, who are interested in what you're making. Very small, very small thing. When we opened Paul, when I was opening Paul, sorry, a friend of mine told me कि तैमूर तुम ये ब्रेड कैसे भेजोगे? ये इतनी सख्त है कौन खाएगा? और हम उसको शॉर्ट फाइट करते थे बैठ के baguettes के साथ हम जब ट्रायल्स कर रहे थे just for fun.
Seriously.
Yeah, because they are. But that's what does the best. Like my bread, mashallah, say, is what people know me for. People enjoy it the most. They love the flavor of it. Our sandwiches are made with hard bread, and touch wood. It's surprising me every day how much people enjoy it. So I think some ways I think we underestimate people in Karachi.
Naimur, I think that's a very good and valid point that you talk about, right? The fact that we always underestimate the audience that we are serving to. But tell me, if I were to ask you, what is that one dish that really surprised you with its take up rate in Pakistan that you thought wouldn't do that well, and one dish that you thought would do exceptionally well and it flopped?
Wow, that is such a difficult question to answer. Because you never look at things that way, right? You never look at things to the point ke what surprises me, what not. Because you sometimes you as a restaurateur, as the guiding force, as the caretaker of a brand, you separate yourself with how you look at it. You can't look at everything by numbers more than thoughts. You look at things what will work. But if I had to gun to my head, I would say the one apart from the bread which I mentioned already is the lemon tart. We do a really sour lemon tart. I mean, it is khatta.
Hmm.
I thought 100 साल में कोई नहीं खरीदा. We have some regular customers who only want to eat this lemon tart. We do about 15, 20 a day. Easily, they'll move off the shelves every day. We have a lemon meringue version of it as well, just to tone it down a little bit. But it moves through slowly. And till today, it shocks me at how well it does. And what surprises me was actually so one of my favorite Paul products growing up was pain au chocolat. I love a chocolate croissant. Used to love a chocolate croissant. Um, and when we planned out what we should import and how we should serve it, we had planned to produce but similar amount of croissants and pain au chocolat, thinking the pain au chocolat will actually outsell the croissant. And there's no comparison. The croissant does far better than the pain au chocolat does well, but like I can't fulfill the demand for croissants ever. No matter how much I import, how much I make, it's never enough. So that's surprising. The sweet did less well than the savory.
That is absolutely incredible because it again drills back to the fact that, we have a certain consumer perception in mind and that completely shocks us. And I was shocked when you mentioned the lemon tart because A, I've never had it. B, after this, you're going to make me try it. And thirdly, because usually in Pakistan, we have a sweet tooth, right? So sour desserts really don't do that well. That's great to know that you outsell them.
I guess we everyone creates their own niche, right? So like everyone's doing super sweet desserts. You are not providing anything new to the market. So for example, all our chocolate desserts are dark chocolate. We don't do milk chocolate. So they are bitter, they are dark. And it surprises me how much kids enjoy them. I think my biggest mistake when I actually started the restaurant was thinking I had to be part of the greater whole.
Hmm.
Over time, as a person, when you grow, you start as younger, you want to be part of the crowd, you want to fit in. And as you get older, you understand your own uniqueness, your own individuality. The same way with the brand. I wanted to fit in first. And now I think we are very comfortable being us, being pure Paul, understanding we have our own place in the market. We have our own fans. We have people who like to come and try a different flavor. We provide variety to the market.
Are you also comfortable with a lot of eateries around that area? I want to ask you this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're okay with it?
मुझे like I said, one of my key parts of my journey is कि मेरे काफ़ी दोस्त हैं इंडस्ट्री में जो रेस्टोरेंट खोल चुके हैं, जो रेस्टोरेंट कर चुके हैं, जो अभी रेस्टोरेंट चला रहे हैं एंड सब ने एक चीज़ समझाई थी कंपटीशन इज नेवर अ बैड थिंग. अगर आप if you go abroad, the most successful restaurants will be surrounded by other successful restaurants, right? And I have friends who run some fantastic eateries near me. One will be Evergreen.
Hmm.
Kamil is Kamil, in my mind, runs the best restaurant in Karachi, like hands down. Costa is near us. We have Mamish down the road. We have Pomo. Best pizza in Karachi, hands down. So it's nice to be with that. It makes things more ronicky. It makes things
Hmm.
more happening. I have recently Nando's has moved nearer to me in front of me. Again, all great food. It's nice to be with a greater whole.
Oh, that's great to know. That's great to know. And तैमूर बिल्कुल सही बात ये है because हम लोग as a nation competition को बहुत we look at it and we view it as something that can harm us. But what we don't realize is that it can actually push us to become better. So I'm so glad that you feel that way. I also feel very nice जब मैं उस area में जाती हूँ and there's so much choice, what to eat and what not to eat. Inevitably, I end up going to Paul, and that is my love for you and for the brand.
Thank you.
But I think बहुत अच्छी बात है that we should all coexist, and we should all learn from each other. And I'm very happy to know that you feel the same way.
I you the key part of running because running a restaurant, as you must know, is everyone will tell you this. It is very difficult. It's something I definitely underestimated entering it. Everyone told me, "Then, are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've done this. I've done this. It's ये भी मैं कर सकता हूँ."
Hmm.
Running a restaurant, the whole different skill set. I have a lot of respect for the guys who do it well and the girls who do it well. But it is important that you retain your positivity. That's otherwise you will never survive.
So Taimur, बड़ी ज़बरदस्त बात आपने की that it all boils down to staying positive, right? I want to ask you because I know how positive you are. I know you personally as well. But for my listeners, I want to actually know how do you stay positive all the time? हमारे तो ups and downs होते हैं, हमारे good days and bad days. I've rarely seen you have a bad day. How do you manage that?
I mean, it's so there's two things involved in that. One is that you go through so much in life that at some point you just have to make a decision that, yeah, if I don't stay positive, life is just not going to work out the way I would like it to do. So I think a very small, quick story about the journey of Paul itself. We actually we first approached them in 2015, 2016 was our first interaction with Paul. And when I sent the email, I did not expect any sort of answer. But I sent a blank, like a completely cold email. That was the first step, and things went, they replied, which was again the first good luck thing we happened. Halfway through that, in 2016, I got paralyzed for 6 months. So during this process, then I became well, and we started talking again. And then everything started, the construction started on the project. 3 months into the construction, I broke my ankle. So I used to go to construction site on a wheelchair. They would take me and my guy, oh, I love it. And God bless the guys who built Paul. They would pick me up because I stopped going to the site and they said, Sir, आप क्यों नहीं आ रहे? I'm like, मैं कैसे आऊँगा? I can't walk around. I'm on a wheelchair bound. They're like, "अब आ जाएंगे, हम handle कर लेंगे." They would take me. They wanted me to see the site. They would take me up
Hmm.
on a wheelchair. So when you see these things, they make you happy. They make you believe in goodness and positivity. Then saddest thing happened. So then we got involved in COVID. Construction stopped. Construction started, and we opened actually in the middle of COVID. So we opened just with some tables outside
Hmm.
and takeaway. And the day we opened, one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever witnessed in my life. We had a lovely, lovely, very dear man as a restaurant manager. He went home the night before, closed everything, came in the morning and got hit by a car first thing in
Oh
the morning.
dear me.
God bless his soul, like a gem of a guy. His family also, forget everything else. His family were throughout the entire process following it, just classy, wonderful, sweet, kind people. Allah tawakkul. I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. But we had a restaurant opening with no one to run it. And I woke up, I found this out, I went straight to the hospital. At the hospital, someone mentioned to me that एक घंटे में restaurant खुल रहा है, करना क्या तुमने? So I made a couple of calls, and my friends who run other restaurants, they came in the morning and they actually ran the first day shift at Paul. Big shout out to Manviji,
Hmm.
big thing. Another friend of mine, Zurain Farhan, he was a big part of that. And then the chef called Jalal, they really stepped up. They ran Paul for the first. It was manic. Imagine you're opening, you have no indoor.
Hmm.
लोग बाहर लाइनें लगी हुई हैं. हम कराची आइट से हैं, इतने खुश लोग नहीं हैं. And that's how did the first day. So, life has just worked out. And then, every difficult thing that happened, like 6 months after we opened up, I think October, September, में हमने खुला था restaurant. In March, April, I got diagnosed with kidney failure. I spent the next year on dialysis, coming in and out. But dialysis. I mean, anyone on dialysis will tell you that they're at probably 50% of functioning human being
Hmm.
capacity, and then had a kidney transplant the next year. So those 2 years, I was not even around the restaurant. And as mashallah, the restaurant is still there. My guys stepped up. They really worked hard. They kept things going. Um, and these aren't people that I qualified, that I raised, or they were, most of them were new,
Yeah.
but they really stepped up. When you see this human nature, it just makes you positive, and it really reaffirms your belief कि अगर आप अच्छा ढूंढोगे अच्छा मिल जाएगा आपको. अगर आप बुरा ढूंढोगे आपको बुरा नजर आ जाएगा. It's
Hmm.
in your mind. Your experience is in your mind. How you see it.
Now you tell me something that I've wanted to ask you for a very long time. So Paul, renowned brand, global brand, comes in to Pakistan. Taymur brings it to Pakistan. Do you feel that there is some kind of a local bias attached to an international brand?
Wow. I think so. Not just me, and I think it's true for other brands as well. When I was opening Paul, somebody sat down with me like, "देखो तुम क्यों कर रहे हो? कभी कोई international brand successful नहीं होती पाकिस्तान में." And since then, we're not the only one. There's a bunch of other international brands.
Hmm.
I think previously it was a matter of timing, right? Matter of timing, and in order to survive, क्या होता है, लोग खोलते थे with the best of intentions.
Yeah.
They had the best products. They would do forward. और कोई आता नहीं था. Yeah, people didn't want to spend that way on those things at that time. But now I think things are different. So people then, sorry, let me correct myself. That time, and then what they did is they tried to then localize themselves in order to survive. I think by the time we opened, people had developed an appetite for these products. People had developed an appreciation of these products. So we didn't have to compromise to bring in customers. And Balki local bias goes the other way around. I think people really, really have a high appreciation for local brands.
Hmm.
And I would say the two best chains in Karachi, when I opened, the people we wanted to be like was Espresso or Xander's. They were the two best
Hmm.
functioning brands in the Western food business in Karachi. They come into every first trip they make into Paul, they come very critical. That what I would say. People who have exposure to Paul abroad, they will come in and they will come in with the comparison with what they've had experience abroad. Some will be very encouraging. They will really appreciate what they eat.
Me. Acha, Taimur, speaking of people being critical, right? Is it about the price point? Because if we look around internationally, eateries have a high price point. But because Pakistan is a very cost sensitive market, do you feel that element of being critical comes with the price point as well?
That's such a good question. I think one of the things, when you're new to something, you head into it in a certain manner with predisposed ideas. But as I've been in the industry, I realized that there's some core important questions to ask yourself. It's not that customers won't pay the price you want them to pay. It is that you need to decide what you want to be, where you want to place yourself, what you want your pricing to be like, at what level. And having done all of that, people are willing to pay for good products. So our croissant is the best in the country, but our croissant is on the pricier side as well. And yet we sell about 70, 80 a day on a regular basis because it is a consistent and it's a really good product. When it comes to our food and our drinks, our coffee, we've always tried to remain at market price.
Hmm.
You don't have to. Like as an international brand, there's no gun to your head to be expensive. Pehle tha, 'cause you had to import everything. Now a lot of what we make is from local ingredients, so that really works out. Pastries, because we use slightly better ingredients, are I won't say expensive, but they're on the upper range of the middle or lower range of the higher, right? You find your own sweet spot, and the only thing you have to be aware is that if you're charging customers more, then you have to complement the product offering with the entire experience of you need to give them a great ambience. You need to give them good service. Because जो बंदा आपके रेस्टोरेंट आ रहा है वो सिर्फ खाना खाने नहीं आ रहा. That is the stupidest thing that I had presumed by the way people come to eat. Someone is coming out and they're spending आजकल क्या 5,000 2 लोगों को लग जाता है ना, जहाँ भी आप जाओ। एनीवेयर यू गो, 4,000, 3,000, 5,000 खर्चा आता है, व्हिच इज़ नॉट अ स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ मनी, राइट? ही इज़ नॉट कमिंग जस्ट टू ईट फूड। They are coming out, a family aa jaye, bachche aa rahe hain, for the entire experience of going out. That means being able to eat things they don't get at home, getting to be treated and pampered by the service staff, being in an ambience that is comfortable or is cool or is whatever,
Safe.
safe, or whatever they're looking for that time, right? Um, we as a brand, we like to have soft music. We like people to come and be able to converse. That's how we want to be. There are other places that are louder music, but that's how they want to be. And that's their customers enjoy them. तो वो जो एक था ना कि people won't pay, जो मेरा ख्याल था,
Hmm.
that I think is a misnomer. People are happy to pay. If they're not paying you, it's because you're not giving them what they want.
Can I just add to that? Adding to ambience and safety and security is also a level of quantity of food. Please, please, please spread the message across and make it viral, because when I go into a restaurant,
Hmm.
I want to have food that is, that is a quantity that actually suffices my hunger at that point in time. And I've seen the quantity reduce over time. What do you want to say about that?
I mean, that is a very good point, because things suddenly in Pakistan, like everyone sees the economy going around, right? Things suddenly in Pakistan became very expensive. It wasn't like a 5-10% increase.
Hmm.
Raw materials jumped by over about 100% in the last 2 years, right? I give you a small question. हम लोग beef लेते थे 1,800 रुपए का. Now I won't talk about how much I buy it for, but market में जाके लोग now 4,200, 4,300 in the space of 2 years. That is an over 100% increase in price. Now कल जाके you can't double the cost, double the price of your food, right? It's not fair on the customer. It's not fair on the customer. You're not going to get anywhere with that. So it has to be a balance of आप टेबल पे क्या रख रहे हो? Sometimes you create new products that are using that they're no way, shape, and form substandard.
Hmm.
But you develop new dishes that are price effective, that are appreciating to the customers. You don't want to reduce your quality of your products. That's damaging yourself.
Yeah.
Forget the customer, you're damaging yourself. क्यों करो आप ये?
Hmm.
So some brands, we haven't had to do that yet, will reduce their quantities in order to be able to stay competitive price wise and not inconvenience their customer. They're not trying to, लोग बोलते नहीं वो cheat करें. Cheat करने की बात ही नहीं है. That's not a cheat. It is making sure that you are still able to have what you enjoy. And you'll be surprised, most people don't have big appetites, sorry, not habits. For हमारा sandwich जो है, we do a sandwich for one. It's consistently shared. There'll be a party of two who consistently share our sandwiches.
Hmm.
We'll order one and say, share it. We haven't changed the quantity. People actually now eat less than they did like 10 years ago. They want lighter meals. They don't want to go home feeling heavy. And everybody at Paul wants to have dessert.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to ask you some questions.
Me?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Because अभी मैं बैठा हूँ spot पे, अभी आपकी बात. So I have two questions for you. Number one, आप Paul क्यों आती हैं?
Now, there's a politically correct answer and there is an answer that I want to give. नहीं, मैं Paul actually इसलिए आती हूँ for two reasons. Like, very aptly you mentioned, I come for the fact that it is convenient. I always find parking there and the food is to die for. The stuffed mushrooms are something that I pick up on the way, something I have had even for a time for a breakfast meeting, and I love the bread at Paul. So that's the reason why I come to
So that is a very nice and sweet answer. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, आपने
Paul.
बड़े प्यार से बोला. अब मैं आपसे सीरियस क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. आप लास्ट पॉल क्यों आई थी और किसके लिए आई थी?
क्यों आई थी और किसके लिए आई थी was परसों. I came for a slice of cheesecake. I did not find it and it was my cheat day, which was my next question to you. ये चीज़ केक क्यों इतनी जल्दी ख़त्म हो जाता है पॉल का? इट्स लवली, इट इज़ टू डाई फॉर, एंड स्पेशली जब आपका चीट डे हो और आप सोच रहे हो कि बस अगले 2 मिनट में आप वो चीज़ केक खा लेंगे, कोई बंदा आके बोलता है, "आप तो मुझे पहचानते हैं।" पीपल एट पॉल दे नो व्हाट आई हैव कम फॉर। सो दे टेल मी पिज़्ज़ा है, क्रॉissant है, ये है, वो है एंड देन चीज़ केक नहीं है। तो तैमूर प्लीज़ मुझे आंसर करिए, ये चीज़ केक का टाइम कब होता है ताकि मैं वहीं किसी को भेज के उस टाइम पे पिक करवा लूँ सारे?
Yeah, हमारा एक rule है, which I'm still trying to find my way around and settle properly. Basically, everything at Paul is fresh.
Yeah, I know
Everything is
that.
made that day. We don't do leftovers. We don't do frozen things that we defrost on the spot. Nothing wrong with people who do that, but
Hmm.
that is not part of what we want to be as a brand, or what we are as a brand internationally. Or, but so unfortunately, the side effect is कभी कभी चीजें खत्म हो जाती हैं हमारे पास. On the cheat day topic, I want to bring something up because one thing that I take great pride in. I tell everybody, let me be your cheat day meal because that's what I'm bred. I am makhan. I am mashed potatoes on the plate. We are nice, rich, soul food where you come when you're hungry, or you come when you're feeling a little down. We cheer you up. Magar, something we've been working on, and hopefully we're waiting for maybe next month soon. We also want to bring in people that may feel excluded at Paul.
Hmm.
One of the biggest feedbacks I get is, why don't you have anything gluten free,
Yeah.
or your options gluten free are a very small part of the menu. And I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's not that we haven't wanted to address that. We want to find the right way of doing that. So we're currently working on a gluten free bread option. We're currently working on gluten free breakfast options. We're currently working at a healthier options in our menu.
Hmm.
By healthy, I am talking about calorie count. Not saying the other stuff is not healthy, because everything we use is pure.
Yeah.
There's no artificial color, no preservatives. That we don't use palm oil in anything. We don't use MSG in anything. We're very particular about these things. But I think it's now time to really work on bringing out something people enjoy. So we're adding some salads, the
Hmm.
easiest in on this thing.
Yeah.
But my my real the hill I want to die on is, I want to find things that are really filling and tasty, but not full of calories. So hopefully in the next month and a half, you will see this at Paul. So hopefully I'll bring you in for more than just a cheat day.
Taimur, we all know that the cafe business in Pakistan is booming. We all know about it. We all go and visit them regularly. We look forward to visiting a cafe or a restaurant at weekends. Tell me, what in your eyes is what makes Paul different from the other cafes that we have?
We will answer that question in two steps. One is the product
Mhm.
that we supply. One is the experience that we give. So I'll start with the experience. There's some basic rules we put in place when we opened up. We decided we will only and always be family friendly. So Paul there's no smoking around
Yeah, I know.
anywhere in the restaurant. No smoking, no vaping. I get a lot of complaints from customers, but it's a principle decision we made because we want people to feel comfortable there with their
Hmm.
families. Very early on, we had a very strong lap down on any misbehavior in the restaurant. If people are being abusive stuff, we'll go over nicely and to ask them, please, because we want to be really family friendly. We want people to be comfortable with their kids, their parents, whoever they want to bring in. And as a product, I think is that we're probably the only place that does the extensive pastry menu we do, but then also does base and then also extensive dine-in menu. So you can come in, you can have a coffee and a dessert with a friend, or you can come and have a full meal. We are one of the few places that give you both the options. I think that's what makes us slightly unique. And as my wonderful wife and my sister both say to me, we love butter at Paul. We have butter in everything that we could add.
Excellent. Okay, now I have been wanting to, because obviously Paul is an international brand
Hmm.
slash chain, whatever you want to call it. How involved are the principals in what you do? And I want to know how much of an autonomy do you have in a day to day running of the business, or long term decisions or vision or whatever. How is that mix working for you? How does it work, and how is it working for you?
Assumption when you open an international franchise is that everything is standardized, set in place, and you get the whole manual and you just follow the manual. Paul is the exception to that rule because all the other international franchises are either fast food or single product offerings. For example, you take Costa, you take CBTL, KFC, McDonald's. Everything is standardized. You know what you're doing. It's basically one main product offering and some some complementary offers. Paul, when it comes to the pastry and bakery, are very strict. They're very particular because they are bread people. It's a 140-year-old franchise and it's still owned by the family today that opened it 140 years ago. So they're very particular about bread. and pastries. Very standardized, is very put into place. When it comes to food, was where they offered us a lot of autonomy. And I think to a certain extent now I've gone backwards. I actually have walked back the autonomy that I have. So what happened? We came up with our own menu. We picked up things from the what locally we liked. We picked things up that we thought would work for the
Hmm.
Pakistani market. And as have things have evolved, and as we have grown, we realized, you know what? We want to be less local and more Paul because that is what we are. We really want to get into identity. Owners of the brand, the keepers of the brand are very supportive. And we've actually bent back. We actually have them more involved today than they were 3, 4 years ago. We go to them a lot more for help, advice. They're really good. They're very, Paul, unlike other brands, they're not here to tell me, कि ये ना करो, वो करो. They're here to tell me, what's going on? Where are you struggling? What are your issues? I go back, ask them questions, they give me answers, they give me advice because they come from running multiple brands in multiple countries. And because the menu is unique to each country, they understand that you have
Hmm.
to comply to your local requirements, but also now have begun to understand how to bring their flavor into your culture. And one big thing they've done, which is, I love Paul for this, they have opened a regional office in Singapore. They've always had a brand franchise in Singapore, which
Hmm.
they own. But now the Singaporean team take care of the entire Asian Pacific region, which is Pakistan, all the way to Australia. So now when I speak to them, I'm speaking to people who actually understand the Asian
Hmm.
language. And जितना भी फर्क हो जाए पाकिस्तान और इंडोनेशिया में, वो कंपेयर नहीं करता जितना फर्क पाकिस्तान और फ्रांस में है वो बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क है so we're
That's
getting
true.
some really good advice and now the dishes also that they are putting on their database that we can pick up now
Hmm.
are suitable to our palate so the franchisee is definitely much more of an advantage than a hindrance to our life.
Hmm. That's an excellent thing, and I'm glad to know that you have that autonomy because that is what we call global. A combination of global and local, and I think it's very important to have that mix because you can't be completely international and you can't be completely local. I mean, there are brands that do that and they do it very well, but in terms of Paul, like you mentioned, obviously there has to be that element of gelling in both.
I would like to add one thing though. Whatever we do does require their approval.
Hmm.
It's not like मैंने उठा के चिकन टिक्का डाल दिया मेन्यू पे और मैंने तो पूछा नहीं
Hmm.
बनती रेसिपी जाती है वो फीडबैक भी देते हैं इवन ऑन लोकल रेसिपीज अकॉर्डिंग फीडबैक फ्रॉम देम एक उनके शेफ ने बोला था ये ऐड कर दो दिस विल मेक इट मोर इंटरेस्टिंग सो दैट्स ग्रेट सो वी हैव a protective sleeve around us from
Yeah.
them.
Great. Acha, Taimur, in Pakistan, dining and food is synonymous with celebration. Birthdays, anniversaries, milestones. Dining moments are like celebrations for
Hmm.
us as a nation. Tell me, how do you see Paul being a part of those moments? Is it a part of those moments? Because I see a lot of cakes and happy birthdays happening at Paul. I also see that day I saw a breakup happening at Paul too, and but it was a amicable kind of a thing. But I just want to know how how do you see Paul in being with those celebratory moments?
So Paul I think has evolved into the way people see it as an intimate setting.
Yeah.
इंटरमेट मतलब कि आप 4 लोग हो आप 6 लोग हो 8 10 लोग हो it's not a big part it's not for a big party it is really nice you'll get friends bringing their friends for a treat कोई special birthday होगी they'll call us up say can you arrange a cake can you arrange something special and that is something definitely that we have picked up from our customers because they give us feedback they say look हमें ये चाहिए होगा ये चाहिए होगा ये चाहिए होगा so we have started now and then to the next customer comes we said we can do this we can do this we can do this and it's definitely something that has grown from the involvement with our customers and what we really try to do is that if someone's special event we do what we can in our power to make them feel special like really special our manager will go make a point to go and spend a little more time with them and then sometimes we will try to make a dessert that they're craving that might be slightly unique to the menu to speak. It's not off the menu, but it'll be unique to the menu. Really make it personal more than anything else. And secondly, we give them damn good food.
I can vouch for that anytime. Is the wall of photographs also a customer idea that we see at Paul?
Oh, that wall of photographs has recently been retired. It has lived its life. It has now gone down because we're going to start again. So what we do is the way that wall came out about up about sorry was the launch of the last menu.
Hmm.
Now we're launching a new menu. There'll be a new wall for that.
So, Taimur, you talk about Paul with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion. I want to know what Paul means to you.
That is such an easy question. For me, it means love, and that's truly what it means for me. Multiple faceted though. So my introduction to the brand was from London. My nana, we I grew up in London. My nana used to live in London. And he was, the old-fashioned brown sab. He was very much brown from the outside, but he was very regimented and loved certain British things. But one of the things he loved was bread, and he would get up every day at 6:30. He would go for a walk, and during his walk, he would pick something up. When Paul opened about, I think, that's 10, 15 minutes from his house in London, he was already in his late 70s, early 80s, even that
Hmm.
age. He would walk over, go pick up a nice, beautiful baguette, bring it home, and feed it to us, make us try it. So from that moment, it was my association with it is just being fed by someone I admired and I loved. And it's was emotional when we finally worked, when I decided to bring this brand here. It will always remind me of him, and he is by far one of my favorite human beings. After that, since I started doing this business, it's taken a lot out of my personal life, as any project does, because the restaurant business doesn't sleep. You're on
Hmm.
it 24/7. And the people who pay the price for that is your family. And the way I speak about love, it reminds me of everything my wife has done for me, the way she supports me through this. She's never ever called me and tells me, Kate, why aren't you home? What if I'm stuck at work? She will never ever, you know, put pressure on me knowing that I'm stuck. And she supports me the days I'm feeling low. She'll cheer me up and get me out there. She'll advise me through decision makings. So that conversation always comes to my mind when I do Paul. And then I see a lot of families at Paul. I see a lot of like one thing I love. I see a lot of older couples coming for dates. So we get this husband and wife in their 60s, or husband and
Hmm.
wife in their 70s will come in. They'll order two coffees and a share pastry, or they'll order two soups and share a sandwich. And it's beautiful to see. And these dates with older people, I find they're also a lot more conversant than some of the younger couples are. So it's that's what I wanted to be. I want to be a place where people feel at home
Yeah.
and feel loved.
Taimur, I know you're a very friendly person. I know because I've known you for a very long time and I know you have a huge set of friends. I want to know, has any of your friends come up, because I see most of them around Paul asking you for a discount या ये डिश फ्री कर दो या ये चीज़ ले लेते हैं थोड़ी देर में पैसे दे देंगे कल पैसे दे देंगे ऐसा होता है?
I would happily oblige my friends with paying later or paying now, but my friends never ask.
Hmm.
My friends have never asked me for a discount. My friends have never asked me a favor. If there's waiting at Paul, they'll be the ones waiting most patiently. They will never rush. The people in the city are so loving and so supportive. And if I can accommodate them, I always will. But it's never been demanded by them. और मैं discount दे भी दूँ ना, वो आगे लड़ते हैं. Like I have friends who come to me to meet me at Paul. I will invite them कि मिले. They insist on paying the bill. I don't let them, but they will insist on paying the bill because I won't let them. They'll leave a big tip for the staff.
Hmm.
Friends are the best thing in the world. People in Pakistan are very, no, and people in Karachi are very principled, and they're very supportive.
Yeah. Taimur, so we've had a series of long questions, we've had a nice conversation. But now I'm going to introduce you to a segment which is about 5 to 6 questions. The catch here is that you are going to answer in a word or in a short phrase, but the first thought that comes to mind. I will not give you any time to think. How does that sound?
Sounds fun, lovely. It's everyone's dream to speak without thinking.
Okay, so let's start. One dish that defines your brand, Paul.
Bread and butter pudding.
Hmm. Biggest wasted opportunity in Pakistan's dining industry today.
No branded, no multi-branded, quick buy desi option.
Okay. A city in Pakistan you think is underrated for dining expansion.
Lahore. Ah, no, no, no. Karachi.
Karachi?
Karachi.
Okay.
People outside of Karachi do not appreciate the desi food in Karachi the way they should. Karachi has the best desi food in the country.
Okay. One competitor you quietly respect.
I respect my competitors very
You have
loudly.
to take a name and you cannot
Zach,
take so long.
Sikandar all day long.
In one sentence, what does dining legacy mean to you?
Good food consistently.
Excellent.
Can I ask you a bunch of random food questions just to throw out some variety to the conversation?
Okay.
Okay.
But you're the one
How
who.
big?
No, no, no. You are the one I invited. So I ask the questions and you say thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. And now I'll ask you some fun questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Where in the world do you think the largest restaurant is? Syria, Egypt, Indonesia, or India?
Say that again. Syria?
Egypt, Indonesia, or India?
Is it Indonesia?
It's in Syria. It's a 6,000 seater restaurant. I
Really?
can't begin to imagine how difficult that is to manage.
Absolutely.
An easier question.
Hmm.
In the list of mango growers in the world, where does Pakistan rank? First, third, or fifth?
No, it's not the first. I know that. It's first, third, and fifth,
Yeah.
right? Is it the third?
No, it is the fifth largest.
Oh my God.
So now I'm going to ask you a very difficult one. Okay.
Okay. I hope I can get this right.
Which company started the Michelin star ranking and why?
Michelin tires,
Absolutely right.
but I don't know the why.
It wanted people to drive around the country. So it started lists throughout so people would drive around the country and thus their tires would be used more. People are,
Interesting.
how smart is that? Who would have thought a tire company would get into food?
That's true. But have you realized that all your questions are based on general knowledge of food, which is your forte?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you admit that, that's fine. No, no, no. That's great. As interesting as this conversation is, as it always is with Taymur, I think that we have to now sign off. But I want to leave with something that I want my viewers to think about. Restaurants come and go, prices vary, competitors come and go, food trends come and go as well. But what really makes a difference is a brand that people trust. Thank you, Taimur, for showing us what Paul is, the level of trust that the customers have in it, the food philosophy that Paul has, and how passionate are you about the brand, which obviously shows in the kind of dishes that are there and in the menu. It was a lovely conversation and it was lovely to have you here. I look forward to meeting you again and definitely with a cheesecake in my hand from Paul.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
And I
you.
look forward to breaking bread together.
Absolutely.